Hey, it's Russ, and that is Lauren. I am from the Infectious Groove Music Channel, and Lauren has come along to join me. And Lauren came from the Beard Al podcast. So, by way of a cheap plug, if you're a Weird Al fan and this is your first time seeing our channel and you haven't listened to the Beard Al podcast, please, there's time to fix your error. Go hit the link in the description and subscribe to her show. And if you are watching this video, I would assume it is because you are a Weird Al fan. And I say that with zero disrespect to the person in this video, but I would argue that most people probably don't know who this is, which is a shame. And Lauren picked a great topic, a person for our latest series, which is what's so great about Jon Bermuda Schwartz.
Jon Bermuda Schwartz.
John. I always say Jim.
I know.
John, whose name I'm going to get right, is one of those people that I think should be in far more discussions about everything to do with drumming. And Weird Al fans, you should know, if you're a longtime viewer of this channel, I don't mean this phrase with any sort of insulting, but he's just Weird Al's drummer. And that's why you don't hear him in more conversations, which I think that's such an offensive phrase, but I bet that's why. Mm-hmm. If you were to talk to drummers about it at a guitar center or whatever, they would be like, yeah, but he's just Weird Al's drummer, which is dumb. So Lauren is going to tell you why that's an erroneous phrase and why Jon Bermuda Schwartz is a great, what is so great about him. So
yeah, what's so great about Jon Bermuda Schwartz? I will tell you, first of all, I love the way that he and Weird Al kind of came to be. They are, Weird Al was going to do his thing regardless, but, he and Bermuda met on the Dr. Demento show and performed Another One Rides the Bus with Jon kind of banging on the accordion case because Al needed some percussion. And they forayed that basically into then a performance of the same thing on the Tomorrow Show, which is classic early Weird Al viewing. Like if you want to know what he was doing before he was the Eat It guy, you have to catch that clip for the velvet pants alone. But we're not here to talk about Al's pants. We're here to talk about Jon Bermuda Schwartz. And the fact that he, in that moment, as seriously as he takes drumming, he was able to sit on the floor, bang on an accordion case, and like squeeze little honking things to make this song happen.
Yeah. What's funny is I know you're going to talk about this later, so I'm not going to get too into it, but like that's an early version of like triggers and samples. Mm-hmm. We're going to get into that more a little bit later, but yeah, like that's a person keeping time and adding things into it. Is quite a bit different nowadays. If you look at nearly anybody who performs, which of course, old man yelling at the clouds here, there's like a million problems I have with people that you see performing on television these days. One of which is nearly everybody has like a drummer and a percussionist, and it's like, back in my day, we had people that would do all those things together. So it is, in essence, Schwartz and that one performance is doing like what nowadays 3 people would do. There would be a keyboard player literally being paid to hit the horn sounds or whatever. There'd be a percussionist probably doing like the higher stuff, and then a drummer playing. Yeah. He's doing the job of all 3.
He's doing all of it.
Yep.
And he, continues to do all of it. And when I say all of it, I think here's the thing that, especially, I'm not a drummer, okay? So I can't really speak to how technically proficient I'm sure he is, okay? But the fact that over the course of the 40 plus years now with Weird Al, he has had to adapt to so many different musical styles. And like, because when you talk about drummers, okay, I've watched enough drumming, videos on YouTube and stuff to know that like Ringo has a style, all these different drummers have
Charlie Watts, Neil Peart,
Liberty
Tommy
DeVito
Lee,
has a style. They all have their way of doing things.
Which is what makes them.
Bermuda's way of doing things has to be all of the ways of doing things.
Yeah, I agree.
And I don't know of anybody else that does that. Like that.
I'm going to not mention the names because it will send people into a rage, but I was having a conversation with a friend the other day about 2 drummers in particular, both very well respected in their own right. And I was saying to him that I thought this one drummer was better than the other, which we would surprise people if you knew who it was. But because I feel like the one drummer could do anything the other did, and the more famous of the 2 drummers can play in his style and wouldn't be able to play in the style of the other person, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Schwartz plays in everyone's style,
All of them,
like everyone's
yes.
style. I know it's silly to be like, oh, Beat It, but like for Beat It, like he's filling in for Jeff Porcaro, you know. It Smells Like Nirvana. I think everybody can agree Dave Grohl's probably the best drummer to come along since 1991. And here's Schwartz. I famously have issues with Smells Like Nirvana, like the guitar tone and a couple other things about it. But like, nope, the drums are dead on.
Yeah.
Like
it's perfect. It's perfect. And I think, and adapting to different musical styles, but then also just adapting to the fact that, like what you were kind of saying before, technology changes, the way people do things changes. Like, I mean, to this day, it's still just him. There's nobody pushing a button, but he's having to do all the stuff.
Yeah, he's got the triggers and synth pads and all that stuff. And he's, a person in rock and roll that I think would be good. If you, I assume if you watch this video, you've seen a lot of Neil Peart footage, but if you watch a Neil Peart drum solo, especially from like 85 on, you see a lot of that triggering and whatnot. And a lot of that goes on in music that people don't realize when it's happening. But a lot of times, like I say, these days, they have a guy to do that. And if you watch Schwartz, he's doing triggering everything. And that goes from the kazoo sound in this song to the knocking sound in Eat It to, percussion over the top of the drums and word crimes. Like he's constantly triggering things, through the whole thing, and it's really quite something.
Wouldn't mind say he's trigger happy. No, my Weird Al people will get that, of course. And I think I'd be remiss without bringing up the fact that his drum solos are legendary. Insofar as
correct, nobody can hang with those
with a Jon Bermuda Schwartz drum solo.
Yeah, well, I mean, either in the polkas or the live experience is a whole.
It's a whole other thing.
Like I say, I had the privilege of seeing Rush 4 times, and Neil Peart it shouldn't even be in the discussion with Jim's drum solos.
John,
why do I keep saying Jim?
I don't know.
I don't understand why I can't keep that straight.
You just have
sorry.
That's okay. Mental hiccup, man. It's all good. Just say Bermuda.
I'm probably just taken so aback by the sheer.
That's true.
Immensity of the drum solo.
That's true. Yeah. So. And the last kind of point, I guess, that I'll bring into this is just the sheer longevity of him being with the band, right? And the respect that he has for his position there is like, like you said at the beginning, where it's, just Weird Al's drummer. Well, you know what? That's a really freaking honorable thing to be.
And I would hope before anybody got all excited and wrote a comment, like, yeah, you understand.
Oh, I know.
I'm not saying that.
I know,
But there are so many things that come with Weird Al that people are like, oh, it's just Weird Al, and
right? And it's not just.
You don't know what you're talking about.
And looking at the work, like outside of drumming that Bermuda has done, he's the band's historian. He's the reason why Weird Al had a website before a lot of other musical acts had websites, because your boy worked an office job outside of being Weird Al's drummer. And he's like, well, I'm gonna design this website. So he did.
And I mean, like, we famously own Squeezebox. Like, the book that comes with that is all his work.
And I've got Black and White and Weird all over. I've got both books with all of the pictures. And thank you for documenting all of this along the way. And thank you for the foresight. I'm talking like directly to Bermuda right now, but thank you for the foresight and recognizing that what was happening around you was important, and that there are nerds like me that would want to see those pictures and hear those stories. And I'm just very appreciative.
I'd like to thank all Jims for letting me call John Jim, and I'd like to thank John for letting me call him Jim. I think that's. I think I should absolutely thank him.
You should say that. I don't think we need to say anything else.
Right. And once again, that is Lauren. My name is Russ. If you like what you've heard about Weird Al Talk, then boy, have we got a show for you. You should go subscribe to the Weird Al podcast and listen to Lauren go on and on and on about great things to do with Weird Al. If you like anything to do with Weird Al, she's covered it or has a plan to cover it. If you like what you're seeing here on our channel, we have four videos every single week with one or both of us in there talking all through all sorts of different music stuff. Let us know what you'd like us to cover in the What's So Great About series or any of the other series on the channel. Drop a like because that helps us out. And as we always say, thank you so much for watching.